On the table are some of the ingredients we pre-prepared beforehand. I'll show you the rest later. Let's begin. Wash your hands and then pour 2 tablespoons of oil in a large bowl. So once that is done, we move on to step 2. Warm the milk, and then later on you mix the butter. So pour in the milk in a saucepan, and then after that you guys can mix in the butter and stir so that the two ingredients can mix well. Make sure that your milk is not too hot, not boiling hot. You just want it warm. That is done. Pour the mixture into an empty bowl and mix in 1 egg. Yeah, so once you're done with that, step 4. Add the instant dry yeast and mix. So I would highly recommend, or well, my mom would recommend using the instant yeast because it can be mixed directly into dry ingredients, whereas active dry yeast must be dissolved in liquid before it can be incorporated into other ingredients. So you guys can choose which one you want, which one is your preference, but for our recipe we choose to use the instant dry yeast. Okay, so once that's done, step 5. Sieve in the all-purpose flour and dry ingredients. So as you're about to finish sieving through all the flour, you can start to add in all your dry ingredients such as the sugar and the salt. Okay, so then you'll realize after a while there's still a little bit of lumps from the flour. You don't have to force it in, you can just dispose of it. Those large stubborn lumps that forms at the end sometimes, it just happens. Okay, so once you've done that, you start to mix it in. Try to mix it in one direction. Okay, so keep mixing until you form the dough. So this takes a little bit of hard work, and it takes a bit of time, but you really need patience for this. And try to scrape off all the sides, the flour that is stuck to the walls of the bowl. Just try to sieve it in, just like how my mom is doing right now. Well, once you've reached this sort of product, just like how you see on the screen, continue to mix it up and try not to waste any ingredients again. Just try to get all the ingredients into that dough. And once you're all done, you need to set this dough aside uncovered for about 20 minutes. And let me tell you guys, there's a lot of resting this dough have to do. It has more resting time than its baking time. And so once you reach this kind, or you see this kind of thing, let it rest for 20 minutes. You realize that the dough has grown double in size. So now we're just gonna put a bit of flour over the dough so that later we can begin to knead it. And then we have a kneading mat. If you guys don't, it's fine. Just make sure the area you're using or you're gonna be kneading on is clean. Sprinkle it with a bit of all-purpose flour so that it doesn't stick and it's easy to reach that sort of consistency that we want for the dough. And then you begin to knead. So pour the dough onto the kneading table like so, and then you start to fold it in. You start kneading like in folds. So first of all, you need to actually um, flatten the dough out, stretch it out. Make sure you've gotten or scraped off all the dough from the bowl. And then you start by pressing it down and you start to massage it. Give it a very good massage. You can go in circular motions, folding it in each time to the center of the dough while you're pressing it down. So you press it down and then you fold it inward to the center in clockwise motion, or whichever motion you guys want to. All right, so keep kneading and kneading until you reach a smooth consistency. If it's not smooth enough, you can continue to add like a bit more or sprinkle a bit more flour on your kneading table so that you can reach that smooth consistency that we are looking for. So just keep folding, pressing, folding, pressing, and rolling and kneading, or whatever you guys call that. Satisfied with how your dough is looking, shape it into a ball, and then take some of the oil that you have poured into that empty bowl earlier and rub some of it onto the dough before placing the dough inside and sealing it with a cling wrap and covering it with a cloth. Later on, put it on top of a fridge somewhere warm, and then let it cool or let it sit for 1 hour, and you'll see that it's double in size. And then you can do your poke test and your press test. So long as your dough doesn't bounce back all the way, you'll know it's ready, and then you can set it back into your kneading table and then press it flat as you can, and you can begin to divide it. To flatten it all out, divide it into equal pieces of 46 grams each, and then later let it rest onto a tray with a baking sheet, which later you will put to rest for 20 minutes before you begin to roll it. So once you guys have divided it into 18 equal pieces, you guys will then start to roll it into a ball and dip it in breadcrumbs and let it rest for 20 minutes until the size doubles up like so. And you can start to bake it inside your preheated oven for 20 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. So you can see that. Let's put it in and wait for 20 minutes. We'll see how our bread will look. Okay, so once it's done, take it out, put it onto a cooling tray, and then you guys can do a taste test. It's definitely a recipe you guys should try. It's simple, it's easy, it's nice, and you can keep it for a few days. So let's have a look at it when it's first just out of the oven. Look at that. And let me show you how it is on the cooling tray. Look at that, soft. So let it rest for a while until it's no longer hot. Guys, thank you for watching this week's video. I hope you guys are like interested in trying it out just by watching us make this bread. It was definitely a lot of mess, but definitely worth it because the bread is really good. So you guys should definitely try it out. And I guess that's it for now, and I'll have to see you on the next one. Hope you guys continue to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and look forward to my next video. Until then, bye guys, good night.